All right, that's enough of that. I'm sorry. So the power glitched out, just like went whoop whoop, and that's enough to do some really annoying damage to us. That is server, that is routers going down, that is computers going down, that is lots of stuff going down, and so hi, this is Skip. I do this show every day called AV Geeks, and this is probably the first time that I've had a power outage while I was doing this, which is pretty amazing considering the amount of weather that we've gotten over the several months that we've been doing this. And so, sorry. Hello, are you there? That's my niece, who called my wife. It's a niece on my wife's side. And, well, was basically mimicking what her parents do when they're trying to get somebody on the cell phone. Hello? Hello, are you there? Hello? Classic. Anyways, so the telecine is not behaving right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got stuff pre-programmed, so that's fine. But I'm trying to figure out the telecine. This has been really strange. But thanks for finding me where I ended up going to. Had to restart some streams, and Facebook and YouTube are different in how they handle that. So, anyways, here is how quiet helps us at school. What I like about this film is it is imagining a world where all the children are sedated. I like also in the title it says how quiet helps us at school. And so this is a really chill, meditative attempt to show kids that are never this way. So here's how quiet helps us at school.
Did you ever walk through the hall at school when the other children were in their rooms? Did you ever listen to the sounds that come from the rooms? Some rooms sound like this. What's happening inside? It looks as if everyone is busy at work. But it's so noisy. What makes the room so noisy? Well, children don't stay in their own work groups. Sometimes children drop things on the floor. They call across the room and talk out loud.
Daddy, can I use your gold crayon? Sure. You still want to? Yes.
It's hard to think about your own work in such a noisy classroom. You couldn't learn very much here.
That's right, darling. Well, where did you leave off then? I left off for the,
And you couldn't be proud to be part of such a noisy room, could you? Do all the rooms in school sound like this? Let's visit another room. Listen. It's so quiet. Aren't there any children in this room?
Would you tell us what we read?
Oh, there are children here. And they're all busy, too. But there aren't any loud noises. Just the sounds of working. We call these work sounds.
Oh, that's fun.
Listen.
Now, children, let's read just one more paragraph. close your books and go back to your seats. You children may go back to your places, too.
Why do you suppose this room is so quiet? Perhaps we can learn from the teacher, Miss Bradley.
Well, I think it's because each of us helps to keep the room quiet when we're working. But we're not quiet all of the time.
You're not?
No, we know there are times and places to be quiet, and other times and places when we can make noise if we want to. For example, when we play, we make all the noise we want. Sometimes making a lot of noise is a part of the fun of the game. But when we go to the library, we are very quiet because we know it's the room where we read to ourselves. When we watch movies, we are careful not to make too much noise. That way we can hear and learn more. And you know, we have found that knowing when to be quiet is a part of growing up. Offices where people work are busy but quiet. And that is the way we keep our room. Because a quiet room helps all of us learn.
How do you do it?
Well, each of us knows how to work quietly. That's very important.
Will you show us?
Of course. Boys and girls, how would you like to show some of the ways we know of being quiet?
Yes.
Well, while we pretend to be working, who would like to show how we work quietly at our desks? Bobby?
Now, why is Bobby clearing his desk? Oh, now there won't be anything to fall off and make noise. You keep on your desk only things you need. That's part of keeping the room quiet. Uh-oh, the point broke. He'll have to sharpen the pencil. Can he move quietly so he doesn't disturb anyone? Do you think you could walk this quietly? Listen to this work sound. When he turns it slowly, it doesn't bother anyone. Work sounds tell that you're busy. They don't disturb others. But June seems to have lost something. Look, an eraser. Whose do you think it is? Bobby won't talk to June, will he?
June, is this your eraser? Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, whispering is the quiet way to talk when you have to talk. Well, Bobby has moved about quite a bit without disturbing the class. Could you do all that as quietly as Bobby did?
Now let's suppose Bobby wanted to get something from the cabinet. How would you do it quietly, Bobby?
Bobby certainly knows the quiet way of working by himself, doesn't he?
Well, of course, all of us have to, if our room is to be a good place to work. Now, Bobby has shown us some of the ways of working quietly by ourselves. Who would like to show how we work quietly in a reading group? All right, bring your chairs up.
Oh, moving chairs will certainly be noisy. Well, there is a quiet way to move chairs, isn't there? There wasn't much noise at all. No one was disturbed.
Well, it's good to see you all so bright and cheery this morning.
And look, they all have their books with them. Now they can get started without having to wait for any children to get ready.
We'll read A Day at the Fair on page 24. Let's read the first paragraph silently to find out who's going to the fair.
All the children are quiet while they read, aren't they?
Who can tell us who is going to the fair? Philip.
Mary, Mother, and Father.
That's right.
See how no one else talks when someone is speaking? It's fun to work together that way. Do you think you could work together that well?
Thank you. Now we're going to show you how we work quietly together in another way. Who wants to show how we're quiet when we work on our model farm? All right, go ahead. Now you return to your desk, and we'll all pretend again that...
How will the children work quietly here?
Judy, where should I put the tractor? Over in the prairie.
They speak very quietly. When one speaks, the others listen. That's polite. They stay near the table. They are not bothering children working nearby. And see how well they work together and do things together?
Now let's see. Have we shown you everything? We saw that there are times for noise and fun, such as play periods, and times for quiet and work, such as the library or our classroom. And we saw some ways of working quietly. You remember how Bobby showed us ways to work quietly by yourself, and how we talk together quietly when we read or tell stories, and how we work together quietly when we work in groups. Those keep our room quiet. Thank you, children. Now, let's get back to work. You can see how quiet helps us, can't you?
Thank you, Miss Bradley. This is a good room to work in, to learn in. Do you know some things you can do to help make your room a quiet place for work?
So tranquil. I mean, normally the cornet music is like upbeat, but this is like, everybody just calm down, be quiet. Thankfully, I got the telecine working. There was a little bit of back and forth. Yeah, normally I have these on UPS or power supplies that will handle things like that, drops in power. But I'm not at my archive, so here we are. All right, so this next film, oh, and I should say thank you, William, for the coffee. One way that you can help AV Geeks when the power goes out is to buy us coffee. So we can scramble and try to get things up and running. So this next film is Remarkable Riderless Runaway Tricycle. Enjoy. Wow, that was great. It's been quite a while since I've seen that. I couldn't quite remember what happened in it, but yeah. This next film is Careers in Emergency Medicine, and this is trying to get people interested in being a first responder or mostly first responder, paramedic, etc. It's got this amazing setup of. I have a friend who's basically said that any film that's about the safety of children delights in showing children getting hurt. And there's quite certainly Sid Davis is an amazing example of that, and with many of his films. But other films, they kind of like showing these kind of shock things of kids in peril, and you could say like, well, it's a cautionary tale, or oh, it's trying to get people's attention. But there is a kind of sick perversity in showing kids getting hurt, even though they're not really being hurt. There's just something, I don't know. Here we go. Careers in Emergency Medicine.
Yes.
Mommy! Mommy!
The plan has other features, of course.
Excuse me.
What's the matter? Is something wrong?
Billy!
Go call for help.
Fire and rescue. Yes, ma'am. May I have your name and the address? Is the child breathing? All right, we'll have a unit there in a few minutes. Rescue 2. Rescue 2, Lanigan University.
Signal 26.
Small child drowning, 1246 Ventura Road East. Rescue 2, 10-4. continue massage, and I'll breathe him and see. No pulse, no respiration, Bill. All right, let me check his blood pressure. No blood pressure, Gavin. Hooked up for telemetry.
Want me to notify the hospital?
Yes, go ahead and notify the hospital. We have about a approximately 7-year-old boy, drowning victim. No blood pressure, pulse, or respiration. Yeah, we're doing CPR.
Have Memorial come up on telemetry frequency, please.
10-4, Rescue 2. Notify Memorial to stand by for a telemetry pattern.
Memorial.
Memorial, stand by for telemetry.
Dr. Rescue 2 would like to send you telemetry.
Thank you.
Rescue 2, this is Memorial.
Memorial, we have a 7-year-old boy, as apparent drowning victim.
Blood pressure 0, no pulse, no respiration. Stand by for several.
10-4, Memorial standing by.
Rescue 2 to Memorial, how did you read?
Rescue 2, we see a very slow bradycardia. Get an IV started, give 2/10 milligram of atropine and 1 amp of bicarbonate. IV push, and then send us another signal.
Rescue 2 to Memorial, we have done as instructed and are ready to send another strip.
Rescue 2, we show marked improvement. Continue CPR, prepare to transport, continue to monitor. Give us a call if any problems develop. Please get room 2 ready for a drowning victim. Call inhalation therapy and EKG and ask them to come on down.
How you doing, Gad?
Feel
good pulse going now, Doc. He's trying to breathe on his own.
All right. Okay, let's get him over to the table. Pick up on the breathing. Let's get him hooked up. Beautiful. Nice steady beat. Real fine. Nice small pupils. Good job.
You have just witnessed an emergency medical team in action, responding effectively and efficiently to cry for help. You can become part of that team. If you enjoy working with people, if the challenge and responsibility of saving and caring for human lives appeals to you, if you like work which is exciting and intensely rewarding, perhaps one of the many careers in emergency medicine is for you. Over 114,000 accidental deaths occur in the United States each year. Accidents are the leading cause of death for all Americans from the age of 1 to 44. In addition, every year over 300,000 people die of heart attacks outside of the hospital. Estimates as to how many of these lives could have been saved by effective emergency medical teams have ranged in the tens of thousands. As a member of this team, you will be helping save these lives.
Billy!
People are needed who can educate and train the lay population in life-saving techniques such as cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Career opportunities for educators in various phases of emergency medical care are rapidly growing. You may be trained to become an educator of lay people, emergency medical technicians, nurses, and other health professionals. The area of communications is vitally involved with the operation and maintenance of an efficient emergency medical system. Helping to provide the link between the victim and available help is a most important job. As a communications specialist, operator, dispatcher, or supervisor, you will have the challenging responsibility to coordinate the many rescue units within your community and to see that the right help arrives in time. One of the most important members of the emergency is the emergency medical technician, the health professional who rides the rescue unit. He may be a member of the community rescue squad or on a staff at a local hospital or employed by a private ambulance company. His skills and training are unique among health career areas. As an emergency medical technician, you become the mobile mind and hands of the hospital emergency physician. In many cases, you will be trained in applying such advanced skills as cardiopulmonary resuscitation, defibrillation, the administering of intravenous fluids, and the care of shock, burns, broken limbs, and various wounds. The emergency medical technician must also be skilled in the application and operation of equipment which supports various types of communication, including telemetry. His skills and judgmental ability will often mean the difference between life and death and between recovery and permanent disability. Within the hospital emergency department itself, a wide variety of career opportunities exists. You can become trained as a unit clerk, an attendant, nurse's aide, X-ray or inhalation therapy technician, emergency technician, registered nurse, physician's assistant, or even as an emergency physician.
Beautiful. Got a good, solid beat there.
Emergency medicine is one of the fastest growing specialties in the field of healthcare. Communities throughout the nation are building and revitalizing their emergency medical care systems. New people with appropriate skills and new ideas are needed now. These people will find the rewards which come with the saving of human lives.
Wow, Paramount made that film. So they did, I think they acquired ACI, and then they started making their own stuff. Because there was a market. There was a market to be make money doing educational films. I mean, you could sell a film, one copy with a license for like $400. And it's not bad for something that's like 15 minutes. So yeah. This next film, I have no idea what this is. And one of the reasons why is because it has just a one-word title. And sometimes when I'm browsing the stacks or I'm looking in a database, I just don't pay attention to that because the title doesn't seem as interesting as The Remarkable Riderless Runaway Tricycle, or Careers in Emergency Medicine, or This Is Life. This is just returning. So I kind of don't know what this is. I can look at it says employment security, but I don't know. Who knows? Let's see what this is. Returning. Could be returning from jail, maybe? I don't know. Let's see.
This is my town. Population, 200 million, and still growing. It's got a good name, too. It's called the United States of America. I'm pretty fond of my town. It's not perfect, but we're working on it. It's a great place to live and a great place to work. One of the things that make it a great place to work is we have the protection of unemployment insurance. Not too many people know all they need to know about unemployment insurance. Only the other day, a friend of mine asked me.
Oh, why do we need unemployment insurance in a great town like this?
Elementary question? Not by a long shot. It opens the gate to the whole ball game. Dollars to pay bills, to buy food and other needed items. That's how unemployment insurance helps the temporarily unemployed worker. But it doesn't stop there. Those dollars paid out to unemployed workers become a vital force. They strengthen our whole economic fabric. They're not lazy dollars hanging around somewhere waiting to be used. They're fast-moving dollars. Maybe the hardest working dollars in town. They keep up this town's purchasing power, even when there are fewer jobs. And that's what our town needs to stay healthy. For instance, when that Riverside plant had to cut back on its workforce, John Brooks found himself without a job. It shook him up quite a bit. But he's settled down now. He's living on a tight budget, but he's making it with the help of unemployment insurance.
I've just been talking about you, John.
Any luck?
Well, they're hiring at the West Side plant. I think I'll give it a try. Boy, I tell you, looking for work is the hardest work I've ever had to do.
Good luck, John.
Thanks.
John's a good man. He'll find that job. His unemployment insurance check won't make him rich. Brings in less than half of what he gets when he's working. But it will take some of the pressure off while he's looking for work. John is one of several million unemployed workers who are helped by the unemployment insurance program each year. It's for folks who are out of work through no fault of their own and who are beating the bushes looking for work. It's been available to qualified workers since the Depression years of the 1930s. If you don't remember those years, you've heard about them. We said, never again. We would never again leave our neighbors stranded with empty pockets and empty stomachs. That was our low point, but we've been moving up ever since. Right now, more than 65 million men and women in our town work in jobs protected by unemployment insurance. It's a working man's program. There's no doubt about that. But it benefits a lot more people than the unemployed. Men like Fred Carter over there. Fred Carter is an employer. He meets one of the largest payrolls in town. Isn't that right, Fred?
Right. You'll find mixed feelings among businessmen about the unemployment insurance program. Some are all for it. Others aren't too enthusiastic about it. Now, the main reason, of course, is it's mainly the employers who pay the bills. Nobody gets too happy about paying taxes.
Fred, a lot of folks think unemployment insurance comes right out of the worker's paycheck.
Oh, no. It doesn't work that way. I think in 3 states, both employers and workers share the costs. In all others, it's taxes on employers that pay the benefits. The program has helped our plant. Now, you take Henry Arnold. He's one of our top machinists. Henry started with us 15 years ago as a helper. Now he has his own helpers. If we had a temporary layoff at the plant, unemployment insurance would help him ride it out. We wouldn't lose a man we've got 15 years invested in. If it was a permanent layoff, he'd have some time to protect his livelihood. And he wouldn't be forced right away into accepting a job at lower skill with lower pay. Hey, why don't you take a shot?
All right, Fred.
You know, unemployment insurance helps in hiring new men, too. It's one of the additional benefits we can offer when we're recruiting new workers.
Side pocket, Fred.
Just think about this. There are about 3 million employers like Fred in our town who protect their workers with unemployment insurance. Almost all employers recognize the importance of this particular tax. Fred knows its value to his own workers. He also knows the importance of purchasing power to the total economic structure. The economy is strong. Chances are Fred's business is strong. The ability to produce and distribute goods and services is what makes our town the giant that it is. Yes, sir, neighbors. All employers face the possibility of temporary shutdown or reduction in staff. Work changes like everything else. There aren't as many blacksmiths as there used to be, or trolley car drivers, or even elevator operators. But the hands that used to do these jobs are doing something else. Unemployment insurance has helped make the changeover from old skills to new skills easier. Employers like Fred paid their taxes and made it all possible. Ever wonder what happens to that unemployment insurance check?
You don't have to wonder long. I can tell you. We cash a lot of them around here. Those checks are cashed fast and spent fast. They go for meat and potato items. Nobody gets rich on unemployment insurance. The money goes for bread and shoes and work shirts. I'll tell you something. When one of our local plants shuts down, if it weren't for unemployment insurance, our business would really suffer. So would most of the other businesses in town. One apple?
I can only eat one at a time.
Some people call unemployment insurance an economic stabilizer. Now, to get an idea what that means, think of the salaries paid to millions of workers each week. Then if unemployment slows down the flow of dollars, spending power is lost to our town. Well, unemployment insurance dollars, several billion of them a year, help to take up the slack, puts back some of that lost spending power. You might not know it, but when jobs really get scarce, the number of benefit checks a man can get is increased. It gives him some extra time to find a job. It all adds up to a way of keeping unemployment from spreading and dollars in circulation. That's why they call unemployment insurance an economic stabilizer. Like that kite up there. It's got its own stabilizer. That raggedy tail helps keep its head up. Hello, Jimmy. Having a little trouble? This tail is too short. You know, things have to work together to get off the ground. Unemployment insurance knew that a long time ago. The states knew they couldn't do it alone. And the federal government needed help, too. So they formed a partnership. And it's been pretty smooth sailing ever since. The role of the federal government is to set the broad ground rules. The states play the major role in operating the program. Each state passes its own laws and regulations for running an unemployment insurance program for their workers. What you end up with is cooperation. And also you end up with an unemployment insurance program in each state which is different. Differences in the amount of weekly benefits, the number of checks a worker can get, and what it takes to qualify. And yet, they're alike, too. The states work together as a team. More than 2,000 officers out there, and each does the best job it possibly can. Frank Barton manages our unemployment insurance program here in town. He's a state employee.
I want you to keep an eye on that Riverside plant. Find out if they plan any more layoffs. Well, we may want to station some of our men out there to take claims. Those folks there will get their first unemployment insurance checks faster if we do it that way. Yeah. Call me back on this before the end of the day. All right. So you want to know what we do here? Well, unemployment insurance has been around for a long time. It's based on federal legislation passed in 1935. All of the individual states set up programs shortly afterwards. It pays a weekly benefit to qualified workers who are temporarily unemployed. It helps out while they look for another job. You know this already? Well, there's more. It helps out in finding that job, too. Job counseling, skill training, referral to jobs. All part of the package of state manpower services.
Well, how well does it work, Frank?
Darned well. It helps most workers. It could be better if payments were higher. Prices have gone up a lot faster than payments, but we're working on that. Some jobs are still unprotected. That ought to change. But basically, it's a solid program, doing the job that it was meant to do. Some people still don't know about their right to unemployment insurance. We do all we can to inform the public, but we miss some. Others think of unemployment insurance in terms of public charity. They don't want to have anything to do with it.
That's wrong.
This is a working man's program. You have to earn your right to benefits. If you're not a part of the workforce, you don't get unemployment insurance benefits. If you are a part of the workforce and meet other state requirements, then you have a right to benefits, and you ought to take advantage of that right.
It's a system that works. Federal and state governments working together the way they're supposed to in our town's kind of government. Paying people benefits, insurance, as a matter of right rather than a matter of need, gives you a good feeling.
Say, mister, you got a problem? You want to talk about it?
Why, no, I was,
Well, listen, mister. If you want to talk to yourself, go right ahead. Don't let anybody stop you, see?
I wasn't talking to myself. I was,
Well, it's a free country, isn't it? That's what I always say. Just do your own thing. Don't let anybody tell you different, okay?
This just isn't my day. Hey, boy, what are you doing, roaming around? This is Gypsy. He belongs to young Phil Jeffrey. Phil just got out of the service. Now, that's one young man who was glad to have help from unemployment insurance until he settled into a civilian job. You know, special federally financed programs pay benefits to ex-servicemen and to unemployed federal workers, too. It's kind of nice to be backed up by a program that protects you against loss of wages. It's hard to measure all the good it does. Go on, Gypsy. Go on home now. Go on. Well, what have we learned so far? Unemployment insurance gives purchasing power to the worker when he's out of a job. 65 million jobs have this protection. Gives an unemployed worker legroom to look for a job doing the kind of work he's trained to do. He's not forced to take any job at any wage just to have some kind of a salary come in. Helps employers hold on to trained workers when a layoff's only temporary. Puts those hard-working dollars into the town's economy and keeps unemployment from snowballing. One other thing, it helps keep up a man's self-respect. Empty pockets can get a man down. I think I need another apple. Neighbors, if you lose your job, and I hope that day never comes, remember the first thing to do is check with your state unemployment insurance office. Maybe I'll see you there.
Hey, you still around? Looking for a job? Don't worry about it. Something will turn up.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So Returning was not the name of that film, even though it was written right here, Returning on the spine. Hardest Working Dollar. I have this film. I've seen it many times, but I haven't shown it on here, so I was like, well, all right, well, I'll just continue to show it. Wow, kind of timely, as many of the films that I show. I don't intend to talk about current events, but there you go. But that explains it. Thanks everybody for keeping with me, finding me after the power went out just before the show started. I'm actually going to be back doing a Hunt library show. Hunt is at NC State, North Carolina State University. We've been doing virtual events where I show films, and we have an expert who kind of talks about the films in between. It's a lot of fun, and so that's going to be at 6 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. All the same places that you know, so Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, etc. Thanks again so much for donating coffee to us. That's very much appreciated. Gave me that little extra oomph to deal with when the power went out, like restarting things and recycling things and all that stuff. But if I don't see you on Monday. Thanks again so much for your support and your tuning in. And please rewind and please love each other. And we'll see you tonight, or we will see you next week. Everybody, take care. Take care of yourself. And thank you again for your continued support. Bye, everybody.